This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com.
What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com, giving you your full Raw recap from March 28, 2016 in Brooklyn, New York. You got JBL, Michael Cole, Byron Saxon, as your commentators, the usual suspect. Raw started off strong. It started off with The Undertaker coming to the ring. You know, people was really, that Brooklyn crowd went crazy over that. Undertaker pretty much came out and said, look, this WrestleMania would not be my last WrestleMania. And the blood of Shane McMahon would be on Vince McMahon's hands. But you know what? Vince McMahon blood may be on my hand. That's probably because Vince McMahon agreed with Shane when Shane called Undertaker Vince McMahon's bitch. Not a smart move. He said, expect a good fight, but Shane will rest in peace. So, of course, you know, Shane got to come out and say that he going to win the match and he going to take over Raw. And he said he going to destroy Undertaker's legacy. Which Undertaker's like, look, rich boy, you don't have a right to talk about my legacy. Shane looked at him, approached the ring. Brooklyn crowd went crazy. Gets in the ring, getting Undertaker's face. Brooklyn crowd going nuts. He like, look, as far as I'm concerned, Taker, your legacy was lost 2 years ago. WrestleMania 30, New Orleans. First time he lost in WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar, you know, when he got that blemish on his record. And Taker was like, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, as soon as you were born, you was your dad's bitch. Shane attacks him because, you know, before that he said that he's just like his daddy and all that. Really got under. He attacked him. They end up falling outside the ring, and Undertaker takes clear off the announcer's table and picks up Shane for the last ride, about to powerbomb through the table. Shane's able to jump over his shoulders, then do a back kick. Undertaker lands on the table. He gets a monitor. Boom! Busts Undertaker in the head with it. And he's just thinking. You see him thinking. He's like, skip it. You went and bust him in the head with the monitor again. Boom! He looks. You look at that ring. Climbs up in the ring. Climbs on the top ropes. Jump off of it. Deliver the elbow. They both go crashing through the table. Crowd is just besides itself. Raw started off super duper strong. Super duper strong. Shane gets up. He's stumbling. He's stumbling to the top of the ramp. Taker, boom, just sit up. You know how you do. And crowd just go nuts. And he hits his signature thing. He rolling his eyes, got his tongue out. Crowd going nuts. Raw starts off super duper strong. Why do I keep emphasizing that? Because it did not stay super duper strong. If you've ever looked at my poster, whatnot at PlayTimeCares.com, you know that before these pay-per-views, they kind of go half speed because they don't want people to get injured. Look how many injuries they had over the last month. Look how many injuries they had over the last week. You know, the Wyatt family not complete because of what they did at a dark match. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you throw into it that a fan attacked Bray Wyatt during a dark match. I mean, a lot of stuff could happen that doesn't happen on camera on Raw or SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? So they had to kind of go half speed. This Raw wasn't that good, and you know it only added to one match for WrestleMania, which is in 6 days. So of course everybody was up and the energy pumping. They did a Raw recap of Shane McMahon and the Takers, in action, and then you have your first match. You got Zack Ryder versus Chris Jericho. They show that this match really festered up from the pre-show where Chris Jericho tells Zack Ryder that he essentially wasn't good enough to be, say you're a good wrestler, but you're not good enough to have a WrestleMania moment. Then he's like, look, matter of fact, I'm not even gonna give AJ Styles a WrestleMania moment. Nope, I'm not facing him. So, before the match even started, AJ Styles come out and was like, what? You're not gonna give me my WrestleMania moment? You're like, man, screw that. I'm not leaving until I get what I want. He goes, sits by the announcer crew because the table is destroyed. So Zack Ryder, Chris Jericho's paying attention to AJ Styles before the match even starts. Match start, Zack Ryder immediately goes over there and try to get an early pin. Didn't work. Chris Jericho kind of worked him over pretty well. AJ Styles gets back on the mic, start doing the AJ Jackass chants and stuff like that. Um, it started getting to Jericho, and Zack Ryder was able to get a roll up pin victory, and Chris Jericho immediately hit him with the cold breaker. AJ Styles runs in the ring, and Chris Jericho was like, you know what, you're gonna come out here and embarrass me, start these AJ Jackass chants and stuff. You know what? I'm gonna give you your WrestleMania, but you're gonna regret it. This is gonna be your last WrestleMania. So the crowd was like, "Ooh, dude." So, second match, you have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Of course, Ric Flair is there with the Divas champ, and Sasha Banks sitting there with the commentary crew. And then they do a SmackDown recap of um, Charlotte losing to Sasha Banks, and then Becky Lynch, because Sasha Banks pushed her while she was on commentary. She attacks both of them and leave. Back and forth action with this one. Uh, did I mention that that match was just an average match? It was a 2 out of 5. If I didn't, Chris Jericho, Zack Ryder was a 2 out of 5. Back to Becky Lynch. Back and forth action. Becky Lynch was attacking Charlotte a lot, and Charlotte was getting her back, and then once Becky Lynch looked like she was about to get her back, she runs around the ring, hops in the ring by her dad. When Becky Lynch slides in, Ric Flair grabs her leg. She kicks Ric Flair off. That was enough of a distraction. She gets the natural selection on her, get the pin victory. Match was a 2 out of 5. Wasn't really anything. Wasn't anything spectacular about that. Then they interview Vince McMahon about the Shane's and Undertaker interaction from earlier. And Vince McMahon was like, I didn't, it doesn't surprise me. Shane gonna do whatever he can to try to take over this company, but Angry Undertaker is actually the best representative for what I want to be done, representative for my company. Shane shows up and tell her dad that, pretty much saying, look, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do, I'm taking over this company come Sunday. So they did a WrestleMania recap of 2008, which was actually a retirement match with Ric Flair when he faced Shawn Michaels. So seemed like that's kind of like how they're trying to make the Undertaker go out. Keep in mind, Vince McMahon last Raw said that if the Undertaker don't win, then it's gonna be his last WrestleMania. So it seemed like they're hinting towards that the Undertaker is gonna lose, but I can't really see that happening. Um, Third match, Social Outcast versus Big Show and Kane, and Curtis Axel was attacking Kane, but they realized it was no good, so the Social Outcast just ran in the ring and just all of them attacked Kane. Big Show come over the rope, they start beating up the Social Outcast, and then a bunch of superstars. So that technically Kane and Big Show won by disqualification. Bunch of superstars came in, and it kind of turned into the Royal Rumble atmosphere, which ended up having Big Show and Kane clearing out the ring. Then they both picked up Mark Henry and choke slammed him at the same time. Then the Social Outcast came, and the Big Show grabbed each one of them in his hands. One Kane grabbed the other two in his hands, and they both choke slammed them in unison, slightly off, timing slightly off. It was more of a boom, 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 type choke slam. It was slightly off. You got to adjust for different heights and the weights of the wrestler. It's not as easy as you think. It's a lot of science and a lot of timing in that. That match was a 2 out of 5. So they did a Raw recap of Roman Reigns attacking Triple H in the limo from last week. Then Stephanie McMahon and Triple H come to the ring, and Triple H pretty much said that Roman Reigns reignited his passion for wrestling, and that he couldn't stay a suit. Maybe it's because Roman Reigns put him through that table and put his hands on him like he was a nobody. So that passion is what's gonna make him win at WrestleMania. And pretty much said no other match mattered, only the championship mattered. Then Roman Reigns comes out and he attacked Triple H, and they just booed him for it. It wasn't really much love for Roman Reigns. They really not letting him have a easy time. So they when they came back, they did a recap of what happened between Triple H and Roman Reigns. Then they showed Triple H and Stephanie like moving really, really quickly in the back, just scurrying along. Then you get to your fourth match. You got Kofi Kingston, of course, with the New Day versus Alberto Del Rio, of course, with the League of Nations. And then they did a Raw recap from 2 weeks ago where the New Day won their title match against the League of Nations, and the League of Nations jumped them. And you had many near falls during this match, and the match really should have been longer. But Kofi Kingston ended up getting a roll up victory. They had really good parts in here, especially Xavier Woods playing on the trombone. Pretty good thing. Irritating Alberto Del Rio. Had a lot of good points. Didn't have the match long enough. The match should have definitely been longer. They should have let them boys wrestle because it was good. The crowd was getting into it. It was finally a really decent match. Cut it off too early. Either this is a strong 2 or strong average match, or it's a weak 3. An average match with high points, a lot of high points in it. So New Day, they get their titles, they go to the top of the ramp, and Jonathan Coachman, ex WWE commentator, now ESPN analyst, comes out and said that WrestleMania coverage is gonna happen all day on ESPN. Then it shows that he like his Bootio cereal, say he got that, and then he said he always wanted to dance with the New Day, so they started the music, and then him and the New Day dance. Then they talked about who's going to get the Warrior Award this this year, and of course it's the cancer survivor Joan London. She's gonna be inducted by the Dana Warrior, the Ultimate Warriors. I think that's it. I believe that's his wife. Yeah, Dana Warrior. So that should be nice. Only on the WWE Network. You need to check that out. Then they did another recap of what Shane and the Undertaker did, and then Shane and Vince McMahon interviewing the action. Then they're interviewing Roman Reigns, start the interview, and Bubba Dudley comes over there and start taunting them, say, hey, let's finish what we started on SmackDown. They had a match on SmackDown. Roman Reigns come up. Devon steps up. He's like, what you gonna do now, boy? And Roman Reigns hits him. Devon and Devon's go, and he goes after him. They going at each other. Triple H come from behind. Boom! They just start stomping the boy. Dudley boys leave. Triple H lay his title up on this big old block. And it's like, hey, you're never getting this title again. Boom! Bash Roman Reigns' face into the title. Crowd go nuts. They love it. They really love it. So when they came back, they did a recap of Roman Reigns getting jumped. Then you have your fifth match. You got the U.S. champion Kalisto versus Connor of the Ascension. And this match wasn't even believable. You have Kalisto just completely dominating Connor. They trying to show you that, oh man, the size difference don't matter. Yada, yada, yada. Match was a 2 out of 5. Kalisto dominated him, wasn't even believable. Then after the match, he beat up both of the Ascension. Then Ryback comes out and get in his face and just say, hey, look, feed me more. And then walks off, just to show the size difference. So they cut to the back, and Paul Heyman tell Brock that the public waiting to see him. Crowd cheers, and Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come to the ring, and they do a SmackDown recap of Brock Lesnar beating up the Wyatt family, then beating up Dean Ambrose, even though Dean Ambrose had a kendo stick. And Heyman said, Brock Lesnar gonna become Dr. Lesnar this Sunday because he gonna perform a colonoscopy on Dean Ambrose with all those weapons that Dean Ambrose bringing. Dean Ambrose comes out and he has a red wagon. Before that, he said that, hey, spoiler alert, Brock Lesnar's gonna win. Dean Ambrose interrupts, comes out with a red wagon with his insignia on it, and he goes around the ring, don't pay no mind to Lesnar, don't pay no mind to Paul Heyman. Just start picking up things from the bottom of the ring. Wrench, crowbar, picked up a bat, and then he's like, nah, he threw that back. Picked up the bat that Mick Foley gave him with the barbed wire around it. Crowd goes crazy. Picks up the chainsaw that Cherry Funk gave him, things like that. Put in the wagon. Starts to leave, come back, grabs the steel steps, put that in the wagon, then leaves. Crowd going nuts about it. And at no point did he even acknowledge that Brock Lesnar was even in the ring. He didn't even look his way. So they showed Triple H and Roman Reigns in action, and just recap that. And the sixth match was Paige, and she came to the ring with Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, and Natalya. And they call themselves the Total Divas. That's the new faction. And this match, Paige was versus Emma. Emma comes to the ring with a new faction called Team Bad and Blind. Of course, Team Bad would be Naomi and Tamina, minus Sasha Banks. And the Blondes would be Summer Rae and Lana. So now they announce is that they have a 10 Diva tag match for WrestleMania kickoff show. So, okay, finally you got something that really has a real impact on WrestleMania, because we already knew that Chris Jericho and AJ Styles was going to wrestle for WrestleMania. Which that should have been a tag team match versus the New Day. Y'all kind of dropped the ball on that, splitting up the Y2AJ already. Merchandise, you should have waited until merchandise sales went down at least. But Emma started off really, really strong, and she was whooping up on Paige, and then Paige turned the tides, and once Paige looked like she might actually win, Tamina jumps on a apron, and the referee goes to say, "Hey man, get down from the ring." And all of the divas went over to where Tamina was. But keep in mind that it was 5 of Team Bad and Blind, and it was only 4 of Team the Total Divas. So Lana was actually in ring. Emma breaks out of the move that Paige had, while Paige is stunned. Lana does a little kick to her face, like almost a spinning front kick to Paige's face, knockout. She gets out the ring. Emma pins was 1, 2, 3. Both teams start fighting. The number games really wasn't in the favor for the Total Divas. So Eva Marie comes out and she runs to the ring, and everybody kind of, she goes after Lana, attacks Lana. Everybody, team Bad and Blind gets out the ring, and they kind of looking at him confused. But the Total Divas looked at it even more confused, like, "The heck you doing? Who even called you out here?" She has to grab their hands and was like, "Look, man, I'm here. I'm helping y'all." So I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna work out. So then they go to the locker room, and you have Goldust getting ready, and R-Truth tell them that, "Look, come at WrestleMania, it's every man for himself. So the team, we're gonna have to break up to do this over the top battle royal." And Goldust was like, "We're not a team." He's like, "Yeah, that's a spirit. We have to do this. We got to do this one by ourselves." So crowd laughed at that, whatnot. Goldust had a shirt, and R-Truth grabbed it and was crying and blew his nose, and then gave it back to him. A snotty shirt, and Goldust like, "Oh." Crowd loved it. So the next thing they told you was that Snoop Dogg would be inducted into the Celebrity Hall of Fame wing, which makes sense. Not because he's Sasha Banks' cousin or anything, but because he showed up for WWE a lot of times. So it made sense. 7th match, your final match. You had Stardust, The Miz, Kevin Owens versus Sin Cara, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler. Nice action back and forth. What was really the selling point of the match is Kevin Owens really did not do much in the match. Every time they went to tag him, he was like, "Look, no, y'all do it." So it was pretty much Stardust and The Miz going in and out. It was a lot of action. It was funny. Finally, Kevin Owens tags in. He stomps on Sami Zayn a little bit, tags out maybe 3 seconds later on the side of the ring, on the side of the apron. So, when their team was able to get in, they would hit Kevin Owens while he was on the side, and, he would stay down, holding his mouth or whatnot. Then he'll finally get up. Well, all the superstars start hitting finishing moves on each other, and everybody was wiped up. Kevin Owens gets up and sees Sami Zayn was in the ring, and he finally allows himself to get tagged in. Grab Sami Zayn, was like, "Look, you're nothing." And he threw him for his pop-up power bomb, but when he threw him in the air, Sami Zayn turns it into a drop kick. Boom. Kevin Owens like, "Oh shucks, he's not as dazed as I thought." Goes to tag the Miz. The Miz jumps off the apron. Go to tag Stardust. Stardust jumps off the apron, and they leave him there. And he's like, "What's going on?" Sami Zayn, of course, takes advantage of it, beat him up a little bit, do that running kick thing he does while he's in the corner, gets the pin victory. Triple H's match was a 3 out of 5. It was a nice long match. Crowd was really into it. They start making up chants, Miz's booty and all that type of stuff. It was a decent match. Triple H and Stephanie come to the ring. Steph said after WrestleMania, there won't be a new champion. There won't be any new leadership. Triple H says that, his sneak attacks against Roman Reigns are all strategic, and that's just how you have to do it. Roman Reigns come out, and Triple H and them meet up, and they fight, and Stephanie get tired of it, call people from the back. You got the League of Nations and all kind of superstars coming over there. They grab Roman Reigns. Triple H attack him since they got him. Then the Usos and his boys start coming out. They go attack the people that got Roman Reigns, and then they finally just separate both of them. Of course, they break away from each other, hit each other, and all that type of stuff. They have them separated. The Usos got Roman Reigns in the ring with them. Triple H is outside the ring. He's still talking. Roman Reigns decides to jump over the top rope and crash into the whole crowd of people. Triple H crawl away. They finally get Roman Reigns. Triple H hold up the title. Roman Reigns is looking, and they're pointing at the WrestleMania thing. That was pretty much your Raw. It was a lot of talking, not that good of action. All the matches besides the last one was pretty much a 2, a moderate 2. Coffee was a strong 2 or a weak 3, however you want to call it. It is what it is. It's 6 days before WrestleMania. Don't expect SmackDown to be any better, even though this past SmackDown was better than most of the Raws and SmackDowns for the last month and a half. But hey, like I say, subscribe to me on my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my PlayTimeCares.com. I do more than wrestling. I do a lot of funny stuff on there. Well, I start doing more funny stuff, posting more funny stuff. Hey, I follow back on everything. Find me, follow me, Playtime Cares, I follow back. Thanks for watching. Give me them thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever, comment, whatever. Playtime out.